welcome back to Pulse on the Market. I'm your host, Jaden Brains, founder of Brains Capital, and this is the show designed to help you guys stay in the loop with everything regarding stocks, crypto, real estate, whatever it be. I'm here to help you make better, more educated financial decisions. Let's get right into it for today. So the indexes are taking a slight hit today. So the PPI report just came out. That is the Producer Price Index. It's another measure of inflation, and it came in a little hotter than expected. It was a 0.3% increase instead of a 0.2% as predicted. And we're seeing it slightly in the market today. So the Dow is down 1.18%. The Nasdaq's down 0.06%. The S&P is down 0.2%. The small caps are taking a big hit. They're down 1.6%. And the 10-year is up 2.29%, which isn't a good look. I mean, they do well in inflation environments. So we saw that they actually started off good today, and then that report came out and everything dropped quite a bit, and now they're starting to recover back to around flat with, I mean they're barely down at all, but still we're seeing this impact. Nvidia once again is having a bad day. They're down 3%, one of the biggest losers in the Nasdaq, and they're down to $883 a share. Their market cap is $2.21 trillion. So for those, I mean, many of you guys know that they hit $2.4 trillion just not too long ago, and we saw that they took the biggest hit in market cap, like a single span ever. So it was over $275 billion in just one day, because it was a few days ago that they had a spike in their price that went up to what was it? It was around 970-ish, 960, and then it dropped to 860, 870. So they dropped by more than $275 billion in market cap, which is a huge, I mean, that's a huge outflow of money. All right, we're seeing also that Riot's down 7%, Marathon, these are like the Bitcoin mining companies, with Coinbase also down around 5%, and which is interesting because crypto is actually doing quite well. I mean, Bitcoin, they just hit their all-time high of 73,000. Right now, I believe they're around 72. Let me double check this. Yeah, it's at 72,112, or 71,000. Sorry, I didn't update. 71,630. But they were hitting highs of around almost 74,000. So, I mean, Bitcoin's down 1.6%, and we see that in the crypto-related stocks. And even though it's not a huge decrease, still, I mean, these stocks are very sensitive to the price of Bitcoin. Let's see here. Let's get right into the news stories for the day. We got a bunch of good ones for you guys. So, let's take a look here. All right, so actually bad news for Fisker. They are an EV startup, and their ticker is FSR, and they reportedly considered bankruptcy as it faces dwindling cash and over $1 billion in debt. Oof. I mean, yeah, they had $273 million in sales last year, but still they have an enormous amount of debt, and the EV industry is just difficult. That is hard, and we're seeing it. Their stock dropped 50% today, down to 0.16 cents per share. So they are just getting waxed right now. Not a good look. And I mean, that's just hard. I mean, timing is huge for businesses. The majority of the Fortune 500 companies were born in recessions and depressions. And so, I mean, timing is very, very important. If you're starting an EV company right before just this EV drought, I mean, it's very unlikely that you'll succeed. It is very, very difficult. So, I mean, timing is very, very important. All right, AliExpress, they're getting hammered right now. So, let's check the stock for the day. But the EU is launching a probe on them due to just not security on their information. They have a lot of stuff that's illegal on their website, and they're down 3% today. And also just the ability for minors to get access to pornography is, I mean, through Alibaba. They're not cracking down on that sufficiently. So, I mean, the EU, sorry, that's the European Union, they opened this probe. They're investigating them because they want to crack down on this and make sure it's a safe website. And we're seeing in the stock. So, I mean, it's not the craziest news in the world, but still, whenever the European Union opens a probe on you, it's not a good look. And we're seeing in their stock price today. And yes, so we'll see what ends up happening with AliExpress, and over this illegal content. All right, TikTok officially has their ban. I mean, technically no, they have to sell it, but they have a 6 month period to sell TikTok. Otherwise, they will get banned 100%. And from the U.S., let me pull up the story. So it says the House passed a bill giving TikTok a 6 month window to find a buyer or face a nationwide ban in the U.S., which is terrible for ByteDance because we are their biggest client base here in the United States. So they're citing concerns over national security and potential Chinese government influence. The measure now heads to the Senate. And it says, additionally, former Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is assembling an investor group to potentially purchase TikTok. Man, I wonder how much it would cost, but that would be huge. I mean, that's a solid investment because there's so much money to be made on TikTok, and I don't think it's totally accessed yet. There's still a lot of space for growth and to monetize TikTok even more. So that is a solid. I mean, that would be a solid investment. I'm sure it cost a boatload of money though. TikTok was also fined by Italy. So Italy's antitrust regulator has fined 3 TikTok units a total of $10.94 million for not adequately checking content that could be harmful to young or vulnerable users. That is one thing about TikTok, is that there's a lot of stuff on there that really isn't for children, and I'm referring just to that TikTok dancers and whatnot. It could be, I mean, it's just not super fit for children. There's twerking. There's just, I mean, they're not wearing appropriate clothing and whatnot. And I mean, no kid needs to see this, or vulnerable users, as it says. So I do think that they should crack down on that. And I mean, I don't think it should exist at all on the platform, but at least make it unavailable to this demographic. So that's why they're getting fined $11 million. So there's a power surge in the U.S. So, believe it or not, I mean, there's going to be a resurgence in fossil fuel usage. So this poses challenges to climate goals. The reason being is because of, I mean, just data center expansion and increased manufacturing for semiconductors for AI. So we're going to need more electricity to power these data centers and AI and whatnot. And so they're going to have to use a lot more fossil fuels to produce the amount of electricity that we need. And it's in huge demand right now, which is why we've seen electricity utilities go up quite a bit. Ooh, this is good news. So SpaceX, they're planning another launch for their Starship. So previously there was 2 unsuccessful launch attempts, and they're going to try again on Thursday. So, yes. So that's big news. So I'm going to watch that 100%. This is trial 3. Third time's the charm. Let's hope that Elon can pull it off. I mean, I want him to succeed, especially with stuff like this. This is advancement in this world, in this industry, this sector. So I really want to see this perform well. All right, recent earnings. So let's see here. Any good ones for you? Key Holdings. So I was telling you guys about them not too long ago. So the revenue they reported $2.85 billion, which is up 17% year over year. They beat that estimate by $216 million, and their EPS was $0.2 per share, and that's up 400% year over year. I mean, yeah, that seems like a huge year over year, but it was 0.0 or 0.5, and so yeah, it increased 400%. Or 0.4, sorry. All right, so they beat it by $0.02 per share. Let's see how they're doing today. I haven't looked at their stock yet, at their ticker. I believe it's doing well. Or it was a different one. So they're down 2.36%. I mean, but along with the entire market. So the entire market has been doing too well. So I mean, they missed their revenue, I guess. So that could be a cause of it. They missed it by 20%, which is pretty big. And their earnings. They missed their earnings by 20%, but they beat the revenue by 6%. So we actually saw a spike in the price. They made it up to 14.72. Now they're down to 14, just due to the overall pullback of the market. Things are starting to drop a little more. Oof, this is not looking good. All right. Let's see here. Dick's Sporting Goods, they released the revenue of $3.88 billion, which is up 7% year over year. They beat that estimate by $76 million. And their EPS was 3.85, which is up 31% year over year. They beat that by 50 cents a share. UiPath, which is PATH, is their stock ticker. The revenue reported $405 million, which is up 31% year over year. That's good. They beat the estimate by $21 million. And their EPS was $0.22 a share, which is 46% year-over-year increase. They beat that by 6 cents a share. Upcoming earnings, we got Adobe, Ulta Beauty that are reporting after the close, Smartsheet. And it's tough for these companies that are reporting during a rough time in the market for the day. So, I mean, all the indexes are down even more now. They're down to 0.3, pretty much all of them, except for the small caps, now 1.8. And so going into an earnings report when the market's already having a slight pullback, it amplifies losses and it kind of hinders gains. So I'll be watching those pretty closely, maybe do a couple scalp plays if they have bad reports or whatnot. We'll see. Or if they have good ones as well. All right. But other than that, not too much going on for today. Yesterday had a lot more crazy news stories. If you missed yesterday's episode, make sure to go back and listen to it. There's a lot of good stuff that'll keep you up to date. Just before I close, we got SMCI, which is the most volatile stock that I've seen in a very long time. It is down 5% to 1133. So just earlier today, they were at around 1,200, and they tanked. They're down $50 a share. This stock will drop 50, go up 50 within the span of minutes. It's impressive how volatile this stock is. All right. Other than that, it's a pretty neutral day. It's not anything too cool. And that'll be it for today. Once again, thanks for listening. If you guys have any questions or you want me to dive deep into a stock or a ticker, make sure to reach out to me on marketpulse.io, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Disclaimer, this podcast is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial investment or legal advice. So this is all opinions and based off experiences, and you're advised to conduct your own research. So this could all be inaccurate and not complete whatsoever, the information shared. And I'm not responsible for any actions taken based on the podcast. So it's all risky. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And I'm not responsible for any losses or damages that may occur as a result of investments made after listening to this podcast. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.